what are you doing?
Well, we were reading John Dewey, and we were reading the chapter about the teacher as a gardener, and so we were just trying to get acquainted with nature by frolicking in the leaves.
That's not what the chapter is about. It's a metaphor.
Oh.
Do you want me to tell you a little bit more about John Dewey and the metaphor of teacher as gardener? Okay, come on, let's go. Oh, hey, you guys, come on in. I made a video for you about John Dewey. Go ahead and take a seat at the desk.
Thanks!
When John Dewey describes the teacher as a gardener, he isn't suggesting that educators should go spend some quality time in nature. Gardening and teaching share many important qualities, and examining these qualities can help us better understand ourselves and our students. Dewey has four main beliefs that the metaphor of teacher as gardener illuminates. First, the student's native capacities are the starting point of educational gardening and growing. Second, the educational environment is the means of developing native capacities. Third, the educator is to provide the educational environment to nourish the student's native abilities. And fourth, the unending goal of education is growth. Let's start with Dewey's first key belief. In the words of Simpson, Jackson, and Aycock, Dewey believes that the student's native capacities are the starting point of educational gardening and growing.
But what does all that mean? Yeah, what do you mean by native capacities?
Shh. Just keep watching. The video will explain it, I'm sure. Dewey believes that curriculum should be created to fit the student's developmental level. Each student brings experiences and knowledge to the classroom. The native capacities of each student combine in the classroom to create a community of learning. Dewey expands this idea of community learning outside the four walls of the classroom. He believes that if we wish to understand our students, we must learn about the social context of the students' lives.
Oh, so I guess our idea of frolicking in the leaves connecting to Dewey's concept of teacher as gardener really didn't work out. Yeah, it was fun, but let's keep watching. I want to learn more.
Dewey believes that all learners share one common native capacity. He believes that people are active learners who are driven to learn by their own interests, passions, curiosities, and impulses. Teaching, then, should not remain inactive with the simple presentation of facts, skills, and stimuli. Dewey believes that learning should complete a circle and pass from the inactive presentation of data into the active use, application, and response to data.
Well, that's all well and good, but what exactly does it have to do with gardening?
I'm getting there. Just let the teacher do his work, please. Dewey's belief in the importance of the native capacities of students is like the process of growing a plant, just like this one. The student has the potential or native capacity to grow into a healthy and flourishing plant, but it needs the right amount of sun, water, and nourishment to grow.
Oh, I get it. Actually, everything you've said so far has to do with things we've learned in CP this semester. You're right. The idea of native capacities reminds me of Frery's call to honor the world of the students. Actually, Frery and Dewey both seem to believe that we should consider the social context of our students' lives outside of the classroom. Yeah, but they both also believe that the classroom shouldn't be totally overcome by the world outside. We need to challenge them and expand their horizons in terms of the social context of what's going on in the society.
Listen, guys, I understand that critical pedagogy might be one of your native capacities or something, but I really want to teach you about Dewey and how you should be educators to help your students become parts of democracy. So could you just listen to my video, please? Dewey's second and third key beliefs can be grouped together. The educational environment is the means of developing native capacities, and the educator is to provide the educational environment to nourish the student's native abilities. According to Dewey, the educational environment is a big factor in developing the student's native capacities. Just as a gardener takes care that his plants have the right amount of water, soil, and sunlight in order to grow, a teacher must facilitate the student's learning with a healthy environment. Dewey strongly believes that learning cannot occur without the right conditions.
Oh, that sounds a lot like critical pedagogy.
The teacher is supposed to build a constructive and transformative classroom so that the students have a good environment to learn in.
That's true, but in critical pedagogy, the students also contribute to the learning environment, so I guess they're not totally the same.
That's true. So, in critical pedagogy classrooms, the students and the teacher work together to create the learning environment. Dewey, on the other hand, seems to be more teacher-centered.
I don't know what you guys are talking about with Dewey being teacher-centered. Now, would you please just be quiet and listen to my video? The fourth and final of Dewey's key beliefs is the unending goal of education is growth. Indeed, education is seen as growth, and growth is seen as education. Dewey believes that the original state in which a student comes into a classroom should not predetermine the classroom environment. The manner in which a teacher teaches promotes growth by creating a change in the original state of the student. It is the goal of the teacher to bring their students to a realization that they could not have made on their own.
So the students can't always know what's going on in class or fully understand everything, can they?
No, I guess they can't.
The educator needs to allow students to both use and share the knowledge that they already have, but also critically question their knowledge so that growth can occur.
Oh, I got it. So if we think about this in terms of critical pedagogy, it defines what the educators should do, which is transform this world of their students and let their students transform their world.
Wow, you guys are right. I never really thought of it like that. Do you want to help me figure out some more ways that John Dewey connects to CP?
The philosophies of John Dewey and critical pedagogy share many characteristics. John Dewey and critical pedagogy, however, differ in many ways. Both Dewey and critical pedagogy recognize the importance of creating a classroom environment that values and honors the ideas that students bring in from their lives outside of the classroom. Dewey and critical pedagogy also recognize the influence of the outside world on the classroom. They believe that it is important to view the students as social beings and not only as subjects to be taught.
Dewey is teacher-oriented, whereas critical pedagogy puts emphasis on both the teacher and the students. Critical pedagogy values student knowledge and opinions, creating a more equal balance of classroom interaction. However, Dewey suggests that teachers are the primary sources of information.
So what did you guys think of my Dewey video with all the plants and stuff? I mean, was it helpful?
Oh, absolutely. I learned a lot. I mean, the connection of John Dewey's concept of the teacher as a gardener and the educational environment to the way the students are learning was really helpful.
Thanks.
Absolutely. We also learned that students don't come into the classroom at 0%. They come in with native abilities, native capacities, and the teacher should construct the learning environment to fit the capacities. But I think, as critical pedagogues, we need to take Dewey a couple steps further.
Yeah, how does Dewey connect to critical pedagogy? Could you help me out with that a little bit?
Well, Dewey says that students have native capacities, but as critical pedagogues, we also need to trust our students enough to help them learn through what they already know.
Exactly, they can help guide the lessons if they want to. Also, Dewey suggests that the teachers need to help develop the native capacities, but he kind of suggests that as teachers we should guide them to be something that maybe they're not ready to be. So, for instance, you can't really guide a cactus to be a dandelion. You just have to help it become the best cactus it can be.
I guess Brian and Emily are right. Critical pedagogy and the ideas of John Dewey do have a lot of similarities. They do also have some key differences, though, that can help me grow as a teacher. For example, I think I was trying to be a little bit too teacher-centered when I first tried to teach them about the ideas of John Dewey. Now that I've let my students help me grow, I'll be able to become a better teacher.